Hello there. Alright. Let's see, can everyone hear me just fine? Hello, hello.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. Alright.
Alright, so hi, we're Greystone Games, and this is Net King's Call. I'm Max, and I'm one of the corporate guys for Greystone.
Hey, what's up? My name is Anthony, and I'm the main developer for Net King's Call. We also have...
Hello, my name is Kevin. I am in charge of the tabletop divisions here at Greystone Games, working on our tabletop game, Weapons Inc.
Hope that came out right. Yeah, we may say corporate, but we're not really a big entity yet.
Nope.
Alright then.
Alright, let's get started.
You'll hold it? Okay. We're all using the same mic.
So we're
kinda
just holding
ridiculous.
it. The tripod is broken on this thing, so I'm just gonna hold it.
Alright, so for those of you who don't know what Net King's Call is, it's a Mega Man Battle Network inspired turn-based strategy real-time action game. It's something of a little experiment for us all, and how should I say, if you've ever played Mega Man Battle Network, of course, Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, we're hoping this kind of reminds you of those games a little bit. So, we're going to show off today the demo version that we've been putting out on itch.io. And we produce builds, or we're producing builds at this moment every 2 weeks. So some quality of life updates here and there, mixed in with some major updates, new features, whatever comes up in the 2-week span between builds. So if any of you want to ask questions, we're looking at the chat. Just ask us whatever you want, and we'll try to answer as soon as possible.
Alright, let's get started. So we're gonna start up a new demo. After the demo's done, we'll show you the full game. Well, what we have so far.
Yeah, so right now this is the demo that we take to events. So if you've ever heard of Playcrafting in New York, we go to a lot of their events. We go to Playcrafting events in Massachusetts. They're a indie game community where a bunch of creators come together to show off their games, and they get a bunch of visitors to play the games. Thousands of people come in for their events. We were there for Winter Play last year, Spring Play last year, and their Play NYC Expo, which was their big summer event. We also went to the Winter Play this year. Wasn't too big because of the coronavirus. I hope you all are staying safe from that. Sanitize, keep your 6 feet distance apart. You know, what do they call it? Social distancing?
Social distancing, yeah.
Social distancing.
If you want to hang out with friends, call it social distancing, you know, but don't do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
stay online.
All right, so we're going to start it up.
We were recently at Mass Digi, the pitch competition in February, and we brought Net King's Call along with Weapons Inc., and they both won awards there.
Yep. Remember to attack from at least 2 panels away. Lama. So you'll also be seeing, we've added some new characters, dialogue. If you want to read some of this, by all means. This isn't in the public build yet. We're still working on it, trying to make it feel good for the next build that we're going to put out. We have a dedicated writer at the moment who's working on this, but because of the coronavirus, we have been a little bit, how should I say?
Hindered?
Hindered, yes. Hindered
Yeah,
is
that's
a good word.
Yeah.
So I warn you, there's going to be a lot of dialogue because the tutorial, we're still working on it in this new format. We used to have just a text-based menu tutorial. That wasn't so fun. Hopefully with new characters and dialogue, it comes across a little bit better, nicer.
So if you tuned in last time, the last time we were streaming on TeamBN, you would see older characters, older units. Now you see the new units on the screen. These new units were just recently added before we went to the pitch competition. We're still working on them, but there's 3 more characters to come.
At the moment, we're hoping to get at least 8 by the fall. These 3 characters are probably going to remain as they are. What you can see from the board is that there's 3 red squads. Each of them have a swordsman, an archer, and a plague doctor. Last time we showed off, we had a unit called the Guard, but he has since been removed. We're currently reworking him, and we've replaced him with the new plague doctor, which is quite different. So next we're going to get into combat and actually get to the Mega Man Battle Network part of all of this. We'll just skip through this dialogue a little bit quickly. So on clicking the attack button, you can see where the range of your unit is. In the future, with more ranged units and artillery type units, you'll be able to attack from farther, but it won't be Mega Man Battle Network combat. Once you get close though, 1 tile away, you'll be able to hit real close. Also, I just remembered, last time when we were showing off the game, we were able to attack multiple panels away because that was a bug. I just remembered that. Oh my god.
That's probably what he was referring to then, right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of those menu tutorials. Didn't like that. We're going to skip it. So here's where our combat is. We're working on a 5x10 board. So we've got 3 units on one side, 3 units on another. Can't get any more than that, but you can have like 1 versus 3, 2 versus 2 combats, etc. You play as the center unit over here with a blue shield above his head. Right now I'm playing as a plague doctor. For the rest of the units, those are your supports. So if I click on this guy or if I press the hotkey K, I'll be able to select my support 1 and you get a small list of commands on the screen. These commands, I can tell my unit to move in certain ways. So like skirmish is going to move them randomly. Tracking is going to tell them to go track an enemy unit and attack them. And zoning will tell the unit to stand in the front lines and perform their actions. So I'm going to tell this unit to track. And he's going to track the Plague Doctor on the enemy team. As for our support 2, our archer, we're going to tell him to track the swordsman up above. And when I press start, we'll be able to go into 30 seconds of combat. Once that's over, we'll be back on the strategic screen. So the unique thing about the Plague Doctor is that he can heal units. So if they ever take damage, I can charge up and get back behind them to heal them up.
You see when characters are charged up when you see the particles floating around them?
Yep, okay, so we've just won the battle. There's a small ranking system. I really like the ranking system from Mega Man Battle Network. We'll tune this up as time goes on, make it a little bit snazzier, but for now, players are ranked on how many battles they fought against the unit and how many units they've lost to them. So if I lost my swordsman and my archer, my rank would go down. You get an S rank if you lose no units and if you beat them in one single combat.
S rank like, you know, One Punch Man.
I don't know about that one. So now we're going to end our turn and let the enemy take theirs. Looks like they're trying to go after our building that we're standing on gonna try and make a defense. Totally ignoring all the other units, but that's okay. I'm gonna try and capture that now. In fact, I think I'm just gonna make a bum rush towards the enemy castle. So, the way you win missions like this in Net King's Call is you capture the enemy castle located somewhere in the territory or mission. This thing over here, if you couldn't tell, is where it is. It's got a single defender on top of it that will fight to the death for it. In order to get through this guy, though, I need to go fight him, and we'll start combat again. This time, I'll be playing as the archer, and the Plague Doctor will be below and the Swordsman on top. I also didn't explain that the Plague Doctor, his basic attack replicates the grenade from Mega Man Battle Network, or what was it called? It was the mini bomb, right? So it tosses 5 tiles away from his current position. The archer basically has a Mega Buster in the sense that he can make attacks down the lane, and if you charge him up, it's a faster shot, does more damage, and it can pierce through enemies in a future build. So you may have been noticing that time gets slowed. This is not a connection issue. No, and it's not the game's suboptimal performance. No, this is the, how should I say? Yeah, I need this guy to heal. Oh, no, he's dead. I almost got sliced. This is the time slow feature we put in. So we figured that when you charge up an attack, maybe 1 second of time slow might be beneficial or a little bit nice to have so you can line up your shots perfectly. I did not do so well there, and I lost a unit. My Swordsman is still alive somehow, but he might last 1 or 2 more combats, maybe not a lot more. I can make an attack over here, since they're next to me, and we'll go again. So right now I'm playing as the Swordsman. He basically has the sword chip from Mega Man Battle Network. You can also, when you charge him up, he gets a step sword, which takes him 5 tiles away if there's an enemy on it, and basically teleports you for a strike. The enemy just tried to step sword me there. You can also start your attacks in a different tile and move. I'm not sure if we want to fix this, but it seems to be fun so far. Lets me live a little bit longer. And with no more moves, next turn.
When you load up in the attack scene like this, you know that the enemy attacked you instantly. It just went straight for you.
I'm gonna go farm some heals for a little bit. And we're back to full. Nice.
Nice.
So I got rank A this time because I had to fight 2 battles against this enemy. However, I didn't lose any units, so that's preventing me from going down to a B, I think.
Oh, this guy's gonna get murked.
2 shots and he's dead.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna give my Swordsman any commands.
Just let him sit there and relax.
Oh, he's gonna kill.
Ooh. Just took the bullet for him.
Yeah, I had to take a shot. It's alright. Huh, okay, maybe I gave some leeway with A, but we'll fix that next time, maybe. So if I didn't mention this before, the main goal of this experiment was to try out what a strategy game would feel like if you controlled combat as well. I got really frustrated sometimes with like Fire Emblem crits and misses. Also in other games where, you know, you're lining up a shot and your plan would go perfectly except they missed the shot. And then, well, that sets you back quite a bit. And I asked myself, you know, what if there was a way to control the combat? And I really enjoyed Mega Man Battle Network's combat. I think it made for nice, quick-paced action. So mixing the two, turn-based strategy with real-time battles, kind of felt natural in a way, where you plan something out and you move some units to surround someone, and you use the units of like, okay, I want to use this unit against this unit because I have a Plague Doctor and he's really good against X unit or whatever. So that's some of the planning that will be involved in this game. I'm losing my train of thought. Oh no. Let me just give some commands real quick because I think that's what I tried focusing on for a minute. Now we're fading 2 Plague Doctors. This is probably going to kill some of my units. Let's see if we survive. Yes, I also really enjoyed Mega Man Battle Network 5. That's the first one I started on, actually. I'm gonna need to heal these units. They're just raining potions down on me. This is just constant heals. Also, the mini bomb potion attack does 10 tick damage over time, so it's poison basically. Kind of annoying to deal with, but you know, I've got the same tools at my disposal.
Kill that doctor. Kill the Plague Doctor.
He'll die. There you go.
He died. Nice.
So at the moment, the game is primarily player versus AI. Player versus player would be nice in the future, and I think it would make things easier in the sense that I don't have to write AI, and you can just have at it. Some of the problems I see with that is when you give commands currently, it pauses the game for you. If we were to do a player versus player format, we would have to not pause the game every time the player wanted to give a command, because I can give a command versus an AI at any point, and it would be fine. When you start doing that with players, there's an issue. We could do something similar where, similar to Mega Man Battle Network's combat, where I think every time the custom bar fills, it just pauses the game and you pick your new chips. And it does that for both players, and it's an expected thing that you have to account for. We could do something similar to that. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're saying. So that's an easy way out. Another way out is we can just simply not pause the game when a player is giving commands, because only you will be able to see the command that you're giving your unit, and it will be like, okay, I'm gonna press K, and then you have to think about it ahead of time. So like, okay, I want my swordsman to go track down this archer. I'm gonna press K and I, and it's like, okay, instant. We're also thinking of doing hotkeys where the player sets their own commands, in the sense of like, okay, here's my preferred squad, and if I press this button, it's gonna instantly tell my swordsman to go track down their support one, or whatever unit of this category this is. So like a ranged unit in the team, say it's an archer or a plague doctor, or future units like a bishop or a Medusa. The swordsman would automatically prioritize that when you press a certain key. That's something we may experiment with, but it also might be a little bit too complicated. We've got plenty of time to test things out, though. Thank you very much, Microwavy. God, my eyes are horrible. Don't tell me I don't have 20/20 vision. All right, so we just captured a building, Advanced Wars style. No, I'm not going to borrow you. I'm not going to borrow your glasses. Yeah, so we just captured a building. This data wheel over here just turned red like our team colors, and it will, in the future, it's going to heal us when we stand on it. It's also going to provide a resource called megabytes per second, and if you want to hear a little bit about that resource that we're planning, probably for the build after this coming build this weekend, it's going to be like a command power or spell that you can use in this strategic board to, say, call down a rain of arrows to deal damage or heal some units. The trick with megabytes per second, though, with the megabytes per second system we're thinking of, is that it would be a use it or lose it kind of thing, where every data wheel that we're standing on right here would give you, say, 10 megabytes per second. And these abilities would cost a certain amount. So, say it costs 20 megabytes per second to call down a rain of arrows on a 3x3 tile or a 3x3 grid. You would need 2 data wheels to call it down. And if you did have 2 data wheels with 10 megabytes per second generated each, they would instantly call it down. However, if you only had 1 data wheel generating 10 megabytes per second, it would call down the arrows on the next turn. Kind of going along with that internet theme and being a, how should I say, a joke on like slow internet. I don't know if anyone's had to deal with that before. I'm sure you all have. Gonna end the turn.
Slow internet is just one of the worst things.
Yeah.
Ooh, you just yeeted it back there.
Yeah, no, so the AI will sometimes retreat from you if they have lower numbers. This will be more helpful for them in the future when they can actually heal off their own buildings. Although some of the maps that are going to be generated later for us to go fight in might be a little hell-ish if we put that in. So now we're going to steamroll this castle. I was about to say siege this castle, but we're going to steamroll it. Microwavy. For PvP, what about borrowing from the custom gauge in BN and the units you don't directly move you can program, but only last until the next turn until a gauge break, like in Battle Network PvP or maybe like a chess timer. That's one of the things we're thinking about. It could... So on one hand, we're probably going to test all of this anyways, but on one hand, it could break up the flow of combat too much, or it could... how should I say? Or if we don't add it in, it could be too much for the player to handle. So we'll probably test both methods and say, okay, this is the best one so far from our testing group, and we like this the most. Speaking of which, if you want to join our testing group, you should join our NetKing's Call Discord and let us know, because we would like some testers, and you should play the game. It's on itch.io. There should be a link if someone hits, like, ! NetKing's Call. At least I hope there's a link.
I'm pretty sure that link leads to the Greystone Games website, and then from there you can go to itch.io. You can also go to the Discord from there too. Yep.
And done. Thank you very much. Have you considered spreading the effect out over multiple turns instead of delaying it for insufficient resources? Oh, you're talking about the megabytes per second system. Lit. That's also a thought. However, I mean, I guess that also plays on the internet theme of slow internet, like the whole effect doesn't happen right then and there. I was thinking of an interesting game of like, okay, what if there's a very expensive thing, like it costs 80 megabytes per second to call down a meteor or something crazy that does a ton of damage, and it's like you basically put down a tactical nuke timer, and you have to position it correctly in accordance to like, okay, you expect the enemy to move over here, and you have to funnel them and do some board control. I don't know if that's called like metagaming or something like that. No, that's just strategic planning.
Yeah. I mean, it's just being strategic and making sure they go where you want them to go, or forcing them there.
Essentially, yeah. We'll give it a test and see how it goes.
So there's going to be a progressive campaign system eventually, and that's going to have different acts, and the one we'll be implementing is Act 1.
Yep, so the public demo eventually is going to have a full story act. When we say act, it's like we think of stage plays a little bit. That's how our writer is taking it. Basically, I'll start explaining that when we get to the Overworld. But think of them as like chapters, actually. And publicly, the first chapter will be available, and then when we put this up on sale, you can purchase the game and you would have access to the rest of the story. But we'll explain that in a bit. After getting through some obligatory dialogue that I have not made a skip button for yet. Alright, so they want us to capture the building. The enemy doesn't have any units, but that's fine. It'll probably just skip its turn anyways. I say probably. This thing blows up on me like 10 times a day. Oh, hold on. Secondary thing, weaker attacks over a longer time can be made less effective by ways other than moving out of the way, damage reduction, return, etc. Yeah, we can try that. Someone writing all this down.
Here, I'll write this down. I have one free hand. The other hand is holding the microphone. I know I sound low, and I'm sorry about that. I guess I just have a lower voice. Quieter voice.
He's usually the loudest one in the room.
I know. Yeah. It's weird.
Give it another turn.
For some reason, this mic just doesn't like me.
It's funny because on the way over here, I just drove down from Massachusetts to New York. I brought down 2 different microphones with me, and I forgot them both at my house. And that's the end of the demo. Right after they tell me how good I am.
What are you showing us?
Oh god, the stocks.
Look how steep that drop is. That's 5 years right there.
I hope none of you have invested before this crash.
Yeah, if you... Okay, so this is some advice. Do not take it as, knowledge of it. I am not telling you to do something, but liquidate everything if you have any investments in stocks.
Oh, what were we talking about in New York? So it's called playcrafting. If you want to type that out into Chatamon for a minute.
I'll type it out. So...
You also give them a link, actually.
Playcrafting is a great service. They show you how to build Unity. They have a Unity, like a small Unity 8-week course. That's
Unity, if you didn't know, is a game development tool. It's what we're using to build Net King's Callout.
Yep, so... Here, I'm going on the Playcrafting website. I'll link you guys to it. I don't think I can actually give a link, so let me just type it out. I'm sure there's something against it.
We're just going to do like Control-C and paste into chat.
No, it doesn't allow it.
Really?
Yep.
The chat?
Yeah. I remember last time that was the thing.
Oh, okay.
Roth9 told us last time.
Odd. Well, I guess I'll just continue the demo anyways. He'll just put it into chat. So now we're going to show off the more experimental stuff by starting a full game, quote-unquote. So, yes. Here we have a couple of territories out. Oh, hey, Jeffrey. Yeah, so here we have a couple of territories out. The blue one in the center is your home territory, and the yellow
Did
tiles...
you just turn something on and it sounds like there's just feedback. Oh, no, being stupid. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The yellow tiles are like wild territories that you can conquer. And this is more of the grand strategy that we were talking about before. So you will have to collect resources by conquering tiles to build units, research upgrades, and purchase favors from other factions in the world. So the main resource of the game is processing power. Processing power is basically how should I say, it's the material used to make everything else. So if you want to make currency, then you would add more to your processing power for net coins, which is our play on Bitcoin or something like that, Litecoin if you're actually interested in cryptocurrency. You can put into research and you would get 2 research per turn, or you can put into units and you get 2 units processing power per turn. What does this all mean? So if I try to make a unit, a swordsman and an archer each cost 1 processing power per turn. So if I have 2 processing power, I can make both every turn. If I try to make a plague doctor, then it's going to take me another turn if I have all of these in the queue. If anyone is confused at any point, please let us know so I can slow down or explain it a little bit better.
Yeah, we're more than happy to take a second to just explain anything if it looks questionable or weird to you. So the Overworld has some work to be done on it. That's why it's not currently in the demo. It will be eventually.
I'd say give it a month. I say that now, but you never know what happens. It's a very soft hint that maybe it will happen and be there. So, I'm going to end my turn. And we get more currency, and research points were added to whatever research we were building up to. Oh yeah, sure. So processing power. So if I take over a territory, it's going to give me 3 more processing power per turn, which I can then use to build more units, or I can use it to make more money, or I can use it to research things faster by putting into research processing. It's the currency used to purchase all other currencies. So with this system, say if you're at peace, right? You're not fighting anybody. You could put your points into research and currency so that you can build up upgrades and whatnot. But say if someone declares war on you, you can quickly switch from building up currency and research to just building up a ton of units so you can go fight that war.
Show them on the screen right now. Let's,
Yep. So if I wanted to switch it out, I would just pour it all into units processing, and I could build a lot more units per turn.
More units mean big damage. Fun time.
Indeed. Play like the Zerg in StarCraft, except it's not a real-time strategy. So I'm just going to add a bunch of guys to my queue, and you'll see how many guys are added. No, it's not permanent. Yep. Adaptability.
Gives you that flexibility that you would want.
So now if I go to my processing queue of all the units I just put in, I've got a ton of them, and we're going to see this red icon up here with a 2 next to it. That 2 is all the units I've got in my army. I'm going to end the turn, and I've got 4 more, and I'm just going to spam it. Now I've got 11 because I guess I had 5 1 costs? Something like that. But yeah, we've got a ton more units now. That's 5 squads right there. I'm going to actually show you something interesting because I'm sure all these menus are a little bit boring. So when I click on a territory, I get to see a preview of what it's going to be like. So it shows me location and whatnot, map type, and I can scout it to get a preview of what the map's going to look like. These icons need to be updated a little bit, but you can see where the buildings are going to be placed with these green icons, and you can see the deployment area in the yellow. Yes, it's a godsend, because sometimes I don't want to play on bad maps. And if there's a bad map, I'm going to avoid it for as long as possible.
Leave it till the end.
Oh, by the way, these are all procedurally generated. I did not make any of these maps. I just made the machine that made the maps. So yeah, I'm going to start at this yellow tile, and I'm going to get to the castle down over here where my mouse is circled. You can't see my mouse, can you? No, you
they
can.
can see the mouse, yeah.
Okay.
They can't see when you point your finger at the screen.
That's a problem. Need to work on that. But yeah, I could invade this right now, and I can put in my squads and customize however I want which units go where. I'm not going to invade this, though, because I don't like this map.
Let's look at a different one.
Yep. So I'm going to scout It's a little bit different.
This looks nicer.
Does that mean it's kind of like roguelike each playthrough? It's not for testing purposes. This is kind of the intended vision of like there's going to be unlimited maps that you can play through, so there's endless fun. I guess in that sense it's roguelike. I wouldn't really categorize it as roguelike. I kind of imagine it like Civilization, where the world map is different every time. Although I might be a little bit, what's the word? Grandiose. I don't think grandiose is the right word. It's not pompous.
I don't know what you're trying to describe. Pompous?
Like I'm thinking I'm bigger than I am.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So these maps, they're not giving me exactly what I want.
Grandiose.
This is better. It's better because there's more tile variation. I haven't seen grass yet. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with the roguelike idea. Has its merits.
If you haven't played Civilization, I suggest you do. We sometimes have a battle online all together, a big 8-group party of Civ. We have this saying called Civ when, and we always say this to Anthony because he never plays Civ because he's always busy.
Yeah, working a full-time job, then coming back home to work on this, and then
Civ when? Jeez.
Civ when?
Not today. Maybe later. I don't know. So I'm going to play this map. It might bug out on me. We'll see how it goes. So yes, I've already scouted it. I'm going to put in my units to invade. And there goes my Swordsman. Here's my Archer. And here's my Plague Doctor in the Support 2 slot. So the Commander slot is what I'm going to play when this unit gets into attack. Or combat, sorry.
So as you can see, you can make each squad, you choose what you want to have in each squad, which is pretty nice.
Yep.
You can really make it however you want to make it.
I forgot to switch the asset for these squads, but that's oh well. Who cares? I'm going to put 2 swordsmen in this squad. And this squad is just archers. It's just archers.
Just archers.
It's just archers.
Just a hell lot of... Just hellfire. That's all it is.
Alright, we'll deploy the army now. And it renders out in 3D like you saw before. Here's the hellish slog I'm going to have to get through. These narrow pathways. So all maps are going to be generated in a way that you can beat it. That's kind of what happened with this map. We're trying out a different way of generating the maps in the sense that it will always create a land bridge between the castle and the deployment zone. But sometimes that leads to just connecting a bunch of small islands together, and it makes these narrow land bridges that it's going to be like 1v1 combat until you get past all the units on the bridge.
It's just like a funneled army versus another funneled army at one point.
Eventually, if we do put in the spell commands, I expect this to be a slaughterhouse. Kind of like Warhammer. If you've read up on like Warhammer lore, but that's just me.
Anthony likes Warhammer.
A little bit. I'm a big strategy guy.
More than a little bit.
More than a little bit. Hold on. My mouse isn't clicking correctly. There we go. Gonna end the turn, see what it generates. So now those units are going to go back to their buildings and set up defenses, and they're just going to constantly produce until I get over there.
So what do I do when I get overwhelmed by enemy units in Net King's Call? I cry.
No, you get good, because combat is completely determined by you.
See, that's what a good gamer does, but am I a good gamer? That's the question.
I would hope so. We're making a game company.
Yeah. I hope you guys are all staying safe with all this corona stuff going on. We are currently in New York, so it's the epicenter of all this. Every business is closing on Sunday. Any non-essential business is going to be out, just gone. Whenever you go to a restaurant here or like a takeout place, they're gonna have like put tables barricading the cash register. Everybody wears masks. I mean, they're taking good precautions. Chicken. There is no meat available in stores right now.
Oh yeah, I went to the grocery store the other day. All the chicken was gone, but they still had like corned beef. I don't know if you all celebrate St. Patty's Day, but like it was just rows and rows of corned beef. And I'm looking at the expiration dates because like I like corned beef. I was like May 24th. I'm like, I don't know if I trust that. Looking for local playtesters.
Depends on which part of New York you're in. So we're based out of Long Island.
I mean, if you want to drive out to like Long Island, we'd be more than happy. If there's anybody
Love
from
it.
Massachusetts, Worcester area, anyone from the Worcester area, Massachusetts, second largest city in New England. That's where I'm from. Actually, it's not where I'm from.
He's from New York, but he went there for his college and he lives there currently.
Yep. It's a nice city.
Kilios is a city boy.
It's a city. Worcester's a city.
Kilios, how is NYC right now? I haven't gone since all of this stuff started.
My LIR ticket.
I mean, we'll consider comping your LIR ticket. You know,
Bet.
those things are bougie pricey. I wish they were cheaper.
It's quiet. Did we get quiet?
No, the city's quiet.
Oh yeah, the city's quiet.
Yeah. So my friend, our other guy, our marketing guy, Dante, he lives in the New Yorker hotel.
Did the game break? I think it broke.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
Well, you guys
Fantastic.
are witnessing the game breaking.
Does that mean everyone on the stream gets
All
a
right.
poster?
No, we're not giving away posters just yet. All right, so what happened here, if anyone's a aspiring developer or programmer who's interested in pathfinding in AI, what happened here is I set it so that the units would go, or the squads would go find the building that they own and try to defend it. I think what's happening right now is that they can't find a path to their building because I'm currently standing on it. This is my assumption. I don't have a log on me, so I can't read it now. We'll probably just restart this in a bit. Gonna task manager this. I don't know if you can see the task manager. This is a little bit embarrassing. But this is what happens when you play experimental maps. Oh boy.
Nope, they can see it. Yeah.
Oh boy, they can see it. Oh no. Just gonna.
It's up there.
Just gonna get through this build. Here we go.
The most powerful attack, Task Manager.
What happens when the task manager is no longer responding?
I get scared when the Task Manager doesn't respond.
You can save others, but not itself.
So, I'm sure you can all tell this is being worked on actively. You know, we're working out the bugs. And that was not a feature, I'll say.
But in all seriousness, anybody who's in New York, you know, we'd love to have you guys with us. We'd love to play test in person. It'd be great. But Kilios, like I was saying, our guy Dante, our marketing guy, he lives in a New Yorker hotel as an RA there, and like in the New Yorker hotel's dorms. And he said it's so quiet. I remember what he said was, I finally don't get to hear the symphony of Jackhammer's greatest hits, something like that. I forgot the exact quote he said, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, I heard it's really quiet in New York City. Is that it? Is it safe? Does it seem okay?
Aside from that, I'm just gonna butt in a little bit.
City's dead, yeah. Are all the boroughs the same too? Bronx, Staten Island,
I was just
Brooklyn?
You gotta be more assertive.
I gotta be a little bit more assertive. I don't know. They're looking at a gray screen right now. So, we were talking about the story a little bit before. So the way we're gonna handle the story and progression is we have a system called questing right now. You can see this menu here that says quests. And at the beginning of an act, can't speak today. It's going to give you a bunch of different missions to go complete. So this one says conquer 3 territories. There could be another one where it's like ally this faction, build these units, research this, do all this and that. And once you complete all of those quests, you're able to advance onto the next chapter or act of the story. And that's going to give you a bunch of new quests and new rewards and all that fun stuff. And that's kind of how we're going to progress the storyline of Net King's Call. It was a little bit confusing at first how we would fit a story into a strategy game like this, but I think the system works pretty well once we implement it. A little bit StarCrafty, yeah. Our lead artist is a big fan of StarCraft. If Jeffrey would go pop into chat, I don't know if he's still paying attention. But yeah, you can have the mic back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was about to tangent back to New York City. I'm sorry I'm distracting from the stream, but like, you say you're an essential worker and you're driving to work. When you say it's weird, are you saying like the highways are just empty? Because I remember commuting to the city when I took the LIE. It was just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Grand Central had only 2 people there. My God. Has anybody been to Penn Station? I used to commute to the city, and Penn Station was always packed. Always packed. No matter what. I remember one time they called it the Summer of Hell, and I remember commuting during that. There was one point where the sewage pipe broke down in Manhattan, in Penn Station, sorry, and you just had the smell of raw sewage breaking through all of Penn Station, and it was absolutely horrible. No one on the major roads. I mean, it's kind of scary to see. What do you guys honestly think is going to happen in April? Okay, just a cool little thing. April is going to be 420 for the entire month. Just wanted to throw that out there. That's pretty cool. But besides that, I wish it was a better time for it to be 420, but it's not.
Yeah, you're going to have to hotbox your house. In quarantine.
In quarantine.
Your mom and dad. Can't have friends over. At least they're going to be social distanced.
Yeah, I feel like New York is just an absolute nightmare now. If I take a walk around like my suburbs, what's it called? I would see houses that are packed, you know, people in it, normal living, their living room lights are on and they're watching TV, which is great. And then I'd see other houses completely empty, which I'm assuming they just ditched Long Island. They just left. They're like, nope, we're not dealing with this. We all have this problem. All 3 of us have the Note 9, the Samsung Note 9 phone, Kevin, Tony, and I. And whenever we see just one of the phones sitting on the table, we just pick it up and we'd be like, oh, that's not my phone. Hey, Hefe asked, can we order TP from the game?
No. Order the pre-order box and maybe I'll give you a roll.
Did you hear that, Hefe?
You know, if the coronavirus does continue, we could just include toilet paper in the pre-order boxes.
I mean, honestly, like...
Would we put it, would we put Net King's Call logo on the toilet paper?
we could have a custom printed toilet paper where it has the Net King's Call logo, but then, I mean, you're just...
Wiping your ass with our
game? Yeah, you're wiping your ass with our game. Hey, Hefe, how's Philippe doing? So, when we were up in Massachusetts, when the guys in New York were up in Massachusetts for what's it called? The Mass Digi Pitch competition, which we won. Kevin and Dante immediately get into Anthony's house in Massachusetts, and they look at the cat, and they just instantly name the cat Philippe. Now, keep in mind, that cat's name is Shiro. She's a lovely cat, but the entire time we were there, we all just called her Philippe.
I just got fucking wrecked.
I don't know if her name is Philippe.
Her name is Philippe, yeah. Now he changed it. Shiro is great, yeah. Have her name changed to Philippe.
Alright, let's see how many rounds I actually survive. Because they're just going to continue pumping out units.
So I like this more than the demo, where the units are just constantly getting spawned everywhere. And I think it's more scary, personally. You know, you just have a constant influx of units, and you don't have any more units added.
I'm probably going to put a limit on it in the future. Maybe like 10 units on the map.
I mean, you're going to get obliterated.
Yeah, no, if it spawns 100 units, that's going to be a lot of
whenever I
turn
look
cycling.
at the Plague Doctor, I always think he's T-posing.
I mean, a little bit.
Like a lazy T-pose, you know? His hands are
This is
sagging.
going to be hectic. It's just mini bombs.
Hefe wrote, the developer got wrecked. He's not even good. Do you have a rebuttal, Tony?
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't have a rebuttal. Dev bad.
Okay, I actually got to heal myself. Heal me.
Oh god, you guys are
and-
just getting murked in the corner there.
Rip. We'll see how this goes. No, I want them to skirmish. Alright, I just got bodied. Maybe 3 Plague Doctors in the same team wasn't a great idea.
What are you talking about? It's a beautiful idea.
Well, then they'll just keep healing each other infinitely.
I didn't tell them to heal.
Whose fault is that?
I mean, that is your fault, yeah.
Don't think that's
I would have told them to heal infinitely. You know,
Yeah, but then
I was
they're not
reading
doing
about that recently. So whenever you think of something in the past and you think of, oh yeah, I could have done it way better. You know, it's what was it called? Hindsight, bias or something. It was something about hindsight, how hindsight's 20/20, and you'll always show yourself in a more positive view with hindsight. Like, oh yeah, I could have done it way better than this person.
Well, that's nice.
Just a small thing there.
No, I wasn't paying attention at all, but that's nice.
What do you guys think about the new background? So when we had the game on TeamBN last time, the background was a lot different. It looked more like a much low-budget version of the Matrix movies background, where it was just these tiny piano key tiles coming up and down.
Ouch, you're just dissing Jeffrey here.
I'm sorry, Hefe. Whole Plague Doctor squad is trashed here.
That's why it's a support unit.
I will take an all Swordsman squad. Can you make that?
Yeah, you can make it all.
No, I'm saying, can
rank
you make
F.
it?
Yeah,
Oh.
I could make it all.
Let's get an
Swordsman
F in the
squad.
chat. Oh god.
F in the chat. Yeet, that was the goal.
Thank you for the F, Microwavy.
Do you guys have any more questions at all, or like any suggestions? Oh god.
Ooh,
Alright, that's another unit down.
you just got sliced.
Yeah, this guy's not gonna make it either.
5 and 5. Good luck, buddy.
This ain't gonna be pleasant. Nope, and dead. Let's see, I might have missed it, but does each soldier only have one mode of attack? So each unit actually has two different abilities. One basic attack, or one basic ability that when you just press the key button to attack, it does an action. So like the Swordsman has a slash in front of him, the Archer has a pullback, bow and arrow shot, and the Plague Doctor has the mini bomb potion grenade. However, when you charge the attack and you wait a certain amount of time for it to click, then they'll do a second ability. So the Swordsman has the step sword, teleport to the nearest enemy in front of you and hit them. The Archer has a faster bullet that can pierce through enemies, and the Plague Doctor can heal off the charge. Units in the future, units in the future, we're planning a bishop, which is going to be like a priest kind of figure, a Medusa possibly, and I think a centaur is one of the concepts that we are pretty hyped for, but we're still trying to figure out. With those types of units, it's going to be like the centaur. I think the way I was planning it was it would have a 2-tile longsword in front of itself, and when you charge it, what was the virus called? It was like called a cacturn or something. It was the cactus virus from like Mega Man Battle Network 5 or 6, one of those. Anyways, those cactus viruses, they would throw their heads down and they would roll down the entire lane and come back to their original position. That's kind of what I want to do with the centaur, in the sense that cacti or something. Don't tell me I'm not a true Mega Man Battle Network fan, because I don't remember all the viruses. But so like the centaur would charge down the lane, and with a lance it would deal damage to everyone it came in contact with and be invincible, and after it got off the stage it would come back to where it was originally positioned, is something I was thinking of. The Medusa would be like a quick striking 3-tile long attack or something, and it would spit poison maybe. Still got to figure that one a little bit. And for the priest or bishop, I think we were thinking of having it so it heals everybody on your team for 1 point of damage every time you press the basic attack button. Like a fishy virus. But yeah, so the bishop would heal everybody on your team for 1 point of damage every time you hit the basic attack button. But when you charged it, it would call like some lightning smite down on an enemy for like a big amount of damage or something like that. Yeah, essentially like the woodhouse wood nose. Am I reading that correctly? This menu is too far. Yeah, so this game, Corn Shot. Will there be something like Corn Shot? I don't exactly remember what Corn Shot was. I can look into it and maybe we can throw it in there. We're planning at the end of this game, we were saying something like 14 different units, each with 2 different abilities, so there would be a total of like 32 different attacks and abilities in total. For our first release or early access that we're thinking of doing, we're going to put in 8 units, I think. 6 or 8 units to start with. And that should be a total of like, what is that, like 12 or 16 different abilities. So going back to what I was trying to say before with Mega Man Battle Network comparison, this game doesn't have battle chips and it doesn't have cards. The way we kind of replicate that feeling is by having unique units, or I guess, you could relate it to viruses, that each have their own abilities, and you can mix and match a team to have different abilities. So like I can say I can have a very variable team where I have a Plague Doctor, an Archer, and a Swordsman or whatever, and each of those has 2 abilities each, so I have access to 6 different abilities in a battle. Or if I really just like this one ability or these 2 or 3 different abilities, I can make like 2 Archers and a Swordsman in team. 3 Plague Doctors, yeah, exactly.
3 Plague Doctors.
That didn't go very well, but you can mix and match and you can synergize with different units. I remember before when we had our guard unit, the guard unit was like a big shield unit that would stand in front of people and it would reflect attacks like the Metars, and I really like that concept. However, The guard, the Metar kind of fighting style where it's like you have to wait for an attack in order to counter it, wasn't really working out very well. It probably would have worked better if we gave the guard a mini bomb attack like the Plague Doctor was. Actually, that was the original intention. But since we are going more towards a science fantasy, like digital, medieval fantasy kingdom style theme, we're gonna shift the guard into something like a D&D monster, where it's like a mimic that's like a chest, and it eats attacks and it spits them back out, something like that. Maybe the guard can have a throw range move that you have to charge for. Yeah, that was originally what we were planning on doing. We were gonna have the guard have the mini bomb, but it wouldn't do tick damage. It would just do like 15 damage or so. But that became the Plague Doctor. Eventually, we'll put him back in some capacity. We're replacing all the models and animations, so that's that. Scroll up in the chat. I think I missed something.
Sure.
Or missed something someone said. Scroll up a little bit more. Been liking the look of this so far. Thank you very much. What's his name? Legend Hoa? I was gonna say Legend Farming Equipment, but no, that's not what his name is. All right, let's see if I survive this one. I'm not doing very well at all. Back to combat. Oh, so also the archer has a move called Suppress. So if you really don't feel like having them move around a lot, you can just tell them to sit on a tile, and you can work out on your own. So controls. So we actually do have both mouse and keyboard, and we also have gamepad. So you can plug in a controller right now. Unfortunately, you can't see that really because we're not showing ourselves. But yes, you could plug in a gamepad and have the D-pad and the A button, B button, bumpers, all that kind of stuff in the game. We kind of tried to replicate the Mega Man Battle Network style of controls with the gamepad. When we brought the game in for judging and the competition, oh yeah, there's a lot of games that I've seen that don't have indie games. I'm talking about that don't have the controller support necessary. So there's people I went to college with that had some issues where they couldn't move their hands around a lot because some of them had like tremors or it just hurt their wrists. So mixing and matching the controls is something we're definitely going to do. I don't know if they're going to be put in key bindings immediately. We're kind of just working on the game itself before we put in any key binds. Let's see. Are you going to have a sort of rock, paper, scissors element like Battle Network's Elements or Fire Emblem's Unit Advantage? So on that topic, we were originally going to put in an element system. That was not... The game's kind of grown a little bit more than we originally intended, and there's this thing in the game industry called scope creep. Scope creep is never a good thing, and it kind of prevents your project from being released. I told the team that that's working with me and the rest of the guys here that we would finish this game in a year. That didn't happen. We've been working.
It's been well over a year.
Yeah, well, it's been a year and
It's been a year and some months.
Couple months, 2 months, 3 months. We've been working on this since January or... No, we were working on this since December of 2018. So it's probably what we're planning on doing for our roadmap is we're going to give the next 4 or 5 months, 6 months, basically dedicate that to polishing what we currently have, putting in the first act, and polishing up the art style and the visuals and the models and what you see on the board. We're going to put in some trees soon, so this doesn't look so barren. But
yeah, the trees will be a nice sight. Mm-hmm. We'll also be adding in Act 1 of the campaign.
Yeah, I just said that. But
okay, sorry.
Other things like hills, mountains, just general other terrain things to make the map more interesting. A couple more units, their animations. maybe tune up some of the effects that we have, like the archer bullets. It was literally just converted from the gunner that we used to have. Can you plug in my laptop, actually, because I think it's about to die. I'll just hold this microphone for a little bit. Thank you for showing off Net King's Call. I see that it is 9 o'clock. Are we a little bit over time, or are we still good? We're kind of good on the showcase part.
I'll just take a quick second.
Yeah, if you want to talk about what we're trying to do for our future plans or whatever. I guess 5 minutes or so is what we've got left to say, if you don't mind. I mean, otherwise we can move this discussion to Discord or something like that. If any of you are interested, I highly suggest joining our Discord. There we post blog posts about what we're currently doing, news about next builds, and social media posts. You can ask questions to me, the main developer, or any of the other developers working on the game. Is there a Discord link on the site? I believe so.
Yep.
If you go to our website, oh yeah, no, it goes straight to our Net King's Call page. Just click on the link. Just check.
Sure.
Thank you, Tetrash. There should be an invite on there. If not, I am a bad web designer. I am sorry. It should be at the bottom of the page. Okay, no, there is no link on the website itself, but if you go to itch.io, which is linked in the website, it will take you to a list of social... It's a very roundabout way of doing this.
That's a problem.
Yeah, we'll fix that. Or maybe we'll just post it in the chat or something like that. Just go back to Twitch. Or you could also sign up for our mailing list, because that's also important for us.
So follow us on Twitter at GreystoneGames.com. Greystone_games. I'm losing my mind. So, you know, it's great. It'd really help us out if you can check out our stuff. It'd be fun to talk to get you guys on there. And besides that, we were talking about pre-order boxes and pre-orders. Eventually, we'll be putting Net King's Call on pre-order.
Thank you, Tetrash.
Eventually, the pre-order is going to be, you would get the game, you would get a high print version of the banner we have, like a banner we're going to make, and then you would also get your name in the credits, a special thanks, along with a special role in the Discord server.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll probably be listing this out on another page of the website soon. If you want me to repeat that, you get a copy of the game when it's released. We're thinking of the price right now somewhere between $20 and $25. No matter what that price is, the pre-orders are going to be $20. Yep. So if you pre-order now, you're guaranteed to save at least $5 if we put it at $25. I'm kind of leaning towards $25. Just because.
You get the banner, you get the special thanks in the credits along with the special Discord role, and in that special Discord role, you can talk to the developers, you can talk to any of us there, you know.
In a private channel, and it would be
our
separated
own
from
private
everybody else.
channel, separate from the normies.
All right, so I think that's about it.
I'll just quickly say thank you to the TeamBN and to Raj for having us on today. Thank you for having us. It was really cool to see what Eden was bringing out too, what One Step of Eden had, and yeah, thank you for having us here, guys.
We'll just scroll through these credits and you'll see the long list of artists. If you're an artist and you're interested in helping at all, I would be interested in seeing a portfolio or seeing what you got. I can't guarantee anything. Don't quote me on anything. But we would be interested in checking you out.
Anthony Wu, 2020.
Anthony Wu, 2020. I'm not running for president.
No, I'm just quoting you on it.
Oh, you're just quoting me? Yeet, yeet.
Yeet, yeet. So we are going to pack up. I brought my desktop from home, you know, the towers, because I wanted the game to run smooth on it. So, you know, we brought that. So we're going to pack up and then probably grab some Carvel from the place next to the studio and head home and go play some games together or something, you know?
Maybe D&D.
Maybe D&D, yeah. D&D or JoJo.
One of those.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Microwavy.
Testers. Always need testers. It's great to have testers.
If you see in the special thanks area, those are placeholders. Your name could be there.
Your name could be there. So look out for the pre-order.
clap.
Easy clap. Let's clap those cheeks, boys. We're Greystone Games. Thank you for listening to our rant about Nick King's Call.
Okay.
We had a fun time talking to you guys. My arm hurts from holding up this mic, so Taraj, whenever you're ready, we are good to go.
Anytime.
We'll just dance to the music without you guys looking at us dance.
All good.